this was. It said something like, "It's not game of the year. It's the best games I played this year." I think that was the wording. I like that, so I'm repeating it again this year. It's not game of the year. It's the best. Not even the best games. It's every game I played this year. Asterisk on that. There's a couple games that I didn't include on the list this year, like multiplayer games that I played for like 30 minutes. I think in previous years I would have included those on the list, but not really. There's a couple that fall into that category. But whatever. The idea is every game from I think it was like mid-December through I guess mid-December again. This December 9th, 2023, when I'm doing this. I've little over 20 games on here. 24 games. 24 games. So I'm gonna do my arbitrary number rating and just talk about it, because I like talking about games. So it's very important to be able to talk about games. I do use a full 10-point scale. So at the top here, a 10. I've played probably, I'd have to think off the top of my head, maybe like 7 or 8 games ever that I would call a 10. To 9. I'm realizing that there's extra rows on this. Allow me to fix that. Well, I might not need to. We'll see. You know what? I'm going to do it now while I'm talking, because it's going to annoy me if I don't fix this. We're fixing the layout after this starts, folks. You know the vibes. But yeah, using the full 10-point scale, as you can see, a 5 to me is average. Not a 7 is not average. Not a lot at the very top, not a lot at the very bottom. So there you go. And I have a did not finish. What I have been doing before, because I don't treat playing video games as a job. So there's some games where I don't feel like I'm obliged to finish it. I think my rule last year was like, if I finished over half of it, then I would rate it, and you don't get to escape a rating. But if it's less than half, I just throw it down here. So there we go. With that being said, this is going to probably be a long stream if it's anything like last year. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with Dust and Elysian Tale. Actually, I should say before I start, right? There are some discussions internally. Some internal discussions with members of the stream chat of I don't know if I wanted to do this stream the exact same way this year, because I've spent the last 12 months hearing occasional jabs about my rating for Celeste, right? And I also thought about it, and I don't like to just be toxic. I don't really think that adds anything to the discourse, as it were, right? But we're just gonna jump right in. Dust and Elysian Tale. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I rate half the games as one half. I'm gonna have to decline that, Mike. Guys, I cannot tell you one thing about this game. Listen, I looked on my Steam page. I think I have like 5 or 6 hours in this game. Allegedly, I played it at the start of the year. I don't remember anything about this game. I know it's a Metroidvania. I remember you have a companion character that is annoying. It plays all right. It's inoffensive. I originally was interested in it because I've seen it pop up a lot in like best XBLA games and stuff like that. And I think that's I think there's a lot of gems if you go back to that era. There's a lot of games that didn't get their stars, I guess. So I was just like, all right, heard a lot of acclaim for this game, but I was just extremely whelmed. According to How Long to Beat, I did get halfway through it, so I have no choice but to give this a 5. So we're starting off strong. I have no choice but to give this a 5 because I am whelmed. I want to make sure I'm not doxing myself, so I'm going to switch to my... Be right back for a second. All right. Hello. All right, guys. We're back. Sonic Adventure 2. So this is actually kind of the reason why I didn't want to talk about every game this year. Because look, going into this year, Sonic Adventure 2 is probably the game that I was most excited to play. Sonic Adventure 1 I gave a 4 last year. I thought there was so much obvious potential there. I thought, like, at its core, it's a really, really good game. Like, I shouldn't say it is a good game, because I gave it a 4. Not good by definition of the rankings, right? But there is a good core there if all the nonsense can just get cleaned up, right? If all the nonsense gets cleaned up, there's something really good here. Like, if they're making a sequel, that's usually how that works, right? The stupid shit gets cleaned up. So I'm going to be real with you guys. Sonic Adventure 2... Let me explain it this way, okay? I've played a lot of 3D platformers, right? I played a lot of them. I played a lot of bargain bin bullshit at the rental store, okay? On the PS2, okay? PS1 and PS2 era platforms, a lot of bargain bin, a lot of, like, rental store shit. The Knuckles and Rouge levels in Sonic Adventure 2 are literally some of the worst levels I've ever seen in any 3D platformer ever. I was shocked. The Knuckles levels I didn't think were that bad in Adventure 1. They're okay. They were passable, but oh my god, they get really, really, really fucked up and actively spiteful in this game. I was actively having a bad time, and that's a third of the game. Okay? That's a third of the game. Second third of the game, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Adventure 2. This is a genuine question. Okay? You have the three characters, the 3 heroes and 3 villains, whatever. Okay, so it makes sense that you're going to have diametrically opposed characters that are going to have the same gameplay design. So you have Rouge, who plays like Knuckles. All right, sure. Knuckles in Adventure 1 had an interesting enough concept. It was different enough from a lot of the other ones that you'd want to go in that direction for 2. Okay. So in Adventure 1, when I talked about that last year, I actually liked the Tails levels a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought some of the levels are very easily broken because Tails' kit is insane, but I thought that's what was fun about it. And I thought he did play distinctly enough from Sonic. Like, maybe there's some things he could have done to make it more tailored to his kit. But in Adventure 2, the Tails levels aren't Tails levels, they're Gamma levels. And that's really, really weird to me, because who is playing Adventure 1 and thought that Gamma had the most interesting kit in that game that you would want to explore again? Like, Gamma felt very kind of like tacked on. A lot of those levels are just you shoot and you just go in a straight line. So they may have just heard that criticism that I just said about Gamma's levels in Adventure 1. And for the Tails and Eggman levels, they decided they're going to throw some platforming in, right? We're going to take Gamma's general kit because we want Eggman to be on a mech. I'm 99% sure that has to be literally the reason why. Because Eggman's going to be on a mech. Okay. And so we're going to change Tails' kit to accommodate because we can only fit 3 systems on this game because it was made in, what is this, like 2001? Whatever. Okay, I'm not going to blame him for that. Sure. The platforming sucks, dude. I am very quickly realizing, oh, so there's a reason why every Gamma level was a straight line in Adventure 1 and didn't have death pits everywhere. Holy shit. I was getting really, really frustrated on all the levels. It's not as bad as the Knuckles and Rouge levels. It's not as bad. But it is clunky as fuck. It's clunky as fuck. There's some I was getting some moments of joy in there, though, for sure. There's something to be said about these 3D Sonic games, or just Adventure 1 and 2, which are the only ones I played, where there are definitely moments where it feels like there's like an X factor that's there. I'm gonna read what Jaguar is saying. Started revisiting Sonic Adventure 1 levels earlier this week. Found the Knuckles levels are better than I gave them credit for. Other issues I had as a teen, I felt I've heard they designed Sonic, Eggman, and Knuckles first, and Shadow, Rouge, and Tails were tacked on. That would make sense to me. I guess this isn't exactly as you described, but I felt there's a very wild swing in level quality on all 3 campaigns. The Knuckles Rouge levels are all bad, basically, but they do get worse as they go. Like, some of those levels are just pure fucking evil. But for the other 4 campaigns, there is wild swings in quality. It's very I'm gonna get into Sonic's campaign for a second. There's some levels are legitimately great. I guess I'll just go into that now. I guess that's my segue. This game opens up with probably one of the best levels in a 3D platformer I've ever played, City Escape. And because, like I was saying, I went into this game being so excited. My hype levels were through the roof after that. I was just, the game design nerd in me was just gushing over like every single thing that was happening. And you can find like a billion YouTube videos talking about just that level and everything that goes into it. That level of quality does not last is probably the simplest way that I'm going to put this. About halfway through Sonic's campaign, the levels start actively getting mean. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is like, if this was just the era of games when it was like, we have to make the game longer, so we need to make it arbitrarily hard. And they just, they didn't have enough dev time to make more levels, so they just had to make the the second half of the levels fucking obnoxious and bad. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but again, it's not necessarily a binary like you hit the halfway point, because it'll be like City Escape, amazing level, then you'll have like good level, bad level, good level, bad level, bad level, good level, bad level, bad level, good level, bad level. It's like you have no idea. It's just a fucking surprise. Shouts to Zoom Zyke. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I might have watched his video. I don't know. I'm assuming his. whatever. I don't know. I may have seen that person's. Let me correct myself. That person's video. I don't know the exact name, but I might have. Because I know it was someone who's like breaking down every single level. Like I looked at their channel and they have something like that. So it might have been that person. But if so, yeah, that person. I really like that. I like the way they're going in depth for sure. It's real interesting. I just remember like having some points where I would get mad, right? So I get gamer mad, right? I get gamer mad. The anger that I was feeling when playing Sonic Adventure 2 was not gamer anger. It was like there's points in this game where I was feeling pure disdain. Like I'm almost wondering as I'm saying this if this is another PC port thing. Because I remember, Jaguar, you were saying last year that like the Sonic Adventure 1 PC port's bad for some physics issues. The last level in Sonic's campaign, okay, it's like a 10-minute long thing where you basically just have to hop on a bunch of rails over and over and over, and the whole thing's a death pit. But the fundamental problem is that I cannot fucking count how many times I would switch from a rail and jump onto another rail. I see the model colliding with the rail and I die. I cannot count how many times that happened. It made me want to fucking kill someone. Allegedly, not serious FBI. Fucking NSA. This is beyond gamer rage. This is you made the game wrong rage. This is why are you making these platforming challenges when your fucking game can't handle them rage. Like you made levels that aren't designed around your game. It's a different game. Like oh my god. And on top of that, there's also parts of that level which this is not a physics problem, but it is actively mean to the point where it annoyed me. There's parts of that level where you have to be at a certain speed or you just lose because you have to go up. You have to go up a slope, and if you don't go up high enough, you get soft locked. Because you basically go to like the bottom of the roller coaster and you have no thrust to go back up, so you just lose. Okay, if you're going to have a fucking speed requirement, which a lot of the times it would be a situation where you have to start at, you have a flat area, you have to like spin dash into the rail in order to start going and get enough speed and whatever and shift your momentum correctly. Admittedly, this is probably just me not understanding the game, but I felt like I would do the same input 10 times. Half the time it would work and not even be close, and then half the time I would just have like no momentum at all, and I instantly stop as soon as I get to that ramp. If I don't know, if you guys know what I'm talking about, I would love to hear an explanation for how the fuck that works. But I feel like I would just instantly stop sometimes, like almost like there's a fucking invisible barrier. I'm sure that's not literally it, but just I don't know. It felt like Adventure 1 jank. It felt like it was not very like visually communicative what I'm supposed to be doing to get past that platforming challenge. Another level that I think this is Shadow's campaign, not Sonic's. Where I had to put the controller down and just like tell the game to go fuck itself for like 5 minutes before I kept going back. There is a part where there's there's like a rotating like spring platform thing, right? So you have to go on the platform's spinning, and it's kind of like springboarding up a little bit. So you have to time your jump exactly to when the springboard is going up correctly. So you jump by using the jump button, right? Okay, so what's the problem? The jump button is the same button that you use to homing attack. If you homing attack after doing this jump, you die. Because they purposefully make it so that they add an object that you can lock onto that's around a death pit, and there's no way to get back if you lock onto it. That's just fuck you level design. There's no reason to do that besides just being an asshole. And this fucking springboard, it's like the fucking tightest timing ever to actually get the jump correct. So you're going up and down, so you're like, okay, jump, jump, jump. You're trying to get the timing right. You're trying to practice to get the timing right, which is what you do in games. Jump, 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 jump. But if you do get the jump correct, and you're in that mode of jump, 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 that second jump that you're pressing after the correct one is going to kill you. That made me so actively upset. It's weird because I feel like Adventure 1 didn't have so many fuck you moments like that. It was just like very often in the second half of it was most noticeable in the Sonic and Shadow campaigns, which felt like I was saying, mostly fine in the first half for both of them. But they just start getting really mean. Like, really mean in a way that felt actively, like, spiteful to the player. It was very weird. What else do I have to say? So, spoilers, I'm not going to be rating this very high. Things that I thought were good. Shadow. Shadow, I guess I should talk about Shadow. Because I feel like internet memes kind of poisoned my perception of Shadow for like 20 years before I played this game. Because the way the way he's actually depicted in this game is very different from everything that you see online, I guess, is the best way that I would describe that. I don't know if that's something that later in the series they actually just change his character, and it's like this is their first try at him, so his characterization changes. But Shadow's in this weird lane where, like, first of all, I want to say the idea of just making a counterpart to Sonic as an excuse to have more Sonic levels, I'm here for that, right? Obviously, good decision. They're in this weird lane where, like, it feels like camp, kind of, but it doesn't feel like the kind of camp where, like I was expecting Shadow to almost be like a parody character. Because again, like that's what the memes are, essentially. He's not really a parody character. Like, there's some parts where I would think, like, all right, he's actually kind of cool. But then there'd be some scenes where I would be like, that was not cool, that was just stupid. Like, there's some shit that he says that's stupid. Like, I love a good stupid character, you know what I mean? I guess that's where my brain was getting lost. Like, I was expecting him to be just, like, stupid fun and, like, overly self-serious to the point where it's delving into clear parody, but he's not really there. He's just, like, someone that's genuinely troubled. And that's not really bad. It's just not what I expected, I guess. What's up, Freezus? That is crazy. Mobile Twitch got better? That's just not possible. So, And the other good stuff about Adventure 2, obviously the visuals, obviously the audio. Duh. I mean, duh. Like, this is, to me, this is a, this series annoys me. For those who haven't been keeping up with this saga, I have tried to get into Sonic to this point. Over the last couple years, I played through all the most highly acclaimed games in the series. I played through Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, and then Adventure 1 last year, Adventure 2 this year. And honestly, I think my favorite out of all these games was Adventure 1, and I gave that a 4. So it's sad. It's sad because everything about this series feels like I should like it. Conceptually, I want to like this so much because I love the style. I love the unabashed like 90s cool aesthetic. Right? I love how just ridiculous it's portrayed to be a lot of the time, and I love the focus on speed and platforming. It's just obvious. It's an obvious extension, obvious response to the idea of precision platforming, right? It's the counterbalance to that. It's really cool. I just think they make the games wrong. I just think they make the games wrong. Like, they haven't made the game correct yet. The concept is correct, but they haven't made the game correct. I guess that's what it is for me. Does that mean you want Sonic Adventure 3? You know what the thing is too, Mike? If they make one of these fucking games that looks cool enough, I might still give it a shot because like the concept's so cool. The problem is just the controls are wrong and the level design is wrong. That is comparatively an easier fix than making an interesting concept. You know what I mean? That is comparatively much easier. And that's something that traditionally gets better over time. So, yeah, these fuckers might sucker me in again, but for now I'm just going to give that a 3 and on. Alright. Gunfire Reborn 1.0. I reviewed this game in 2020. I think it was a 3 at the time. That's when it was still in early access. I just wanted to come back to this after 1.0 came out. Long and short of it is that the game's gotten better. It's gotten better. There's been a lot more. There's been a lot more diversity in the gun selection. The guns feel generally a lot better. And just stuff like I feel like Gunfire's kind of leaned into some of the things that maybe I didn't like before, such as for people who aren't familiar with this game, this is a roguelite Borderlands, basically. There's a degree of randomization, but I think simultaneously, like, the biggest critique and something that the game does legitimately lean into is that despite it being a roguelite, the game is kind of based around you having a certain game plan and speccing very early and having reliable specs. So it's a game where you can kind of generally have the same kind of progression every time you play, and arguably you should. Like, there's kind of a fairly easy to solve, like, path to getting the highest DPS possible on whatever character you pick. I think it helps that they have enough characters where you can switch it up that way. And they all do play legitimately different. Some of them are clearly overtuned, at least the last time I played, but they're all fun in their own unique ways. This is the game that for me it's the easiest to compare to in my head is Risk of Rain because they're Gunfire is first person, Risk of Rain is third person, and Risk of Rain is a lot more focused on movement, etc. But comparing Gunfire to Risk of Rain, I think the times when I would choose to play Gunfire instead is when I get annoyed about just dying to fucking the most ridiculous shit ever, which that is like the good and the bad of Risk of Rain. Gunfire doesn't really have that. It's a much more sober game. Gunfire is a sober game, and it's functional and it's controllable, and you know what you're getting going in, and it's all right. It's functionally all right, and it's streamlined around co-op. So, yes, Risk of Rain is very drunk. That's correct. Great game though. Love Risk of Rain as well. Gunfire, I'm gonna say it's a 6 now. They've definitely made the game a lot better since early access. Yeah, I'd recommend giving it a shot. Yakuza 0. This did not finish for me. Not because I don't like the game, but because I just don't think it necessarily fits the type of games I'm looking to play right now. Like I have this in my like flag of I should come back to this later. I got through I think the first 2 chapters, but the short of it is there's just so much cutscene. Like sometimes usually I'll have like let's say 2 hours if I'm starting a session, like when I come home from work, I'll play games for like 2 hours and go to bed. That's not really good for this game because you'll have like an hour in between you having meaningful control of the character. Like long ass cutscene, walk to the mission objective, long ass cutscene, another cutscene, walk around an area, another cutscene. There's a lot of that going on. The cutscenes are all good. The story seems very intriguing. It's just I'm gonna have to come back to this later and like I don't know, when I'm at a point where I want to have longer sessions to like get through that stuff in chunks. For people who don't really know about this game, it's I'm trying to wrap my head around it. It's like the tone of the game. It is you'll get the strangest whiplash from just like dead serious, like super dramatic moments, and then just absolute nonsense. But in a way that's a little different than other JRPGs, if that makes sense. Like this is a game that proposes a more grounded setting in a more grounded narrative the whole time, and from what I played so far, delivers on that front, delivers on that tone. But you are fighting as if it is a JRPG or like an anime. It's just ridiculous. If you're going to be a pessimist, you could call it like immersion breaking type of like meme moments that will happen just in the middle of the crime drama. The combat system's pretty cool. I haven't quite exactly cracked how to like look for tells on enemies and break through defenses and stuff like that. But there's a lot of systems in place, and it rewards variety. It rewards learning how to take advantage of literally the environment, having different game plans for different enemy types, stuff like that. It's all felt pretty varied. Yeah, I mean, talking about this makes me want to get back into it, to be honest, but I'll throw it in DNF. This might show up on a future year-end list. I don't know. All right. Kingdom Hearts 3. Who's in chat right now? Whatever. This is gonna be uploaded on the VOD. I need to see if there were any known Kingdom Hearts people in the chat, so I could give a warning before I started talking. This is the hardest game to rank out of every game on this list. So I did a couple Kingdom Hearts 3 streams earlier this year where I was like playing through the end of the game. I should clarify, obviously I know the story of Kingdom Hearts 3, obviously. I knew about it in 2019. I played a little bit of this. This is on this list because I bought the game on PC earlier this year and played through the whole thing in one go for the first time this year. And it was also the first time I touched a game since 2019. Because it's the first time that I had access to it, and it wasn't me just like going on someone else's system and like playing a little bit at a time to get the feel of the game, etc., etc., etc. Right. So this is my first full, not interrupted, not watching, playing. I'm going through Kingdom Hearts 3 4 years later. This is one of the most hyped games of all time, and that is part of the narrative of the game. I guess is how I'll open. That's probably not a totally accurate way for me to word that. But this is a game that's very aware of what it is. This is a game that is made unabashedly for super fans of Kingdom Hearts and no one else. And I do mean no one else. I have no problems with that, by the way. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game that has so much baggage going in that I think not doing that would just make the game worse. They have so much that they have to get done in the game without even thinking about hypothetical new players to the series. So this is a game's mission statement, right? A lot of the themes, and I guess why I was saying narrative before is because narrative and theme might as well be one-to-one in Kingdom Hearts a lot of the time, and 3 is no exception to that. Because the clear purpose of this game is to be the end of Xehanort's story in Kingdom Hearts 3. By the way, obviously, it goes without saying, but spoiler warning for all the games on this list, because I'm about to spoil Kingdom Hearts 3 for you. Kingdom Hearts 3 for me started at a 10. Okay, Kingdom Hearts 2, one of the greatest games of all time. So good that fans could put up with mid as fuck spin-offs. I know Kingdom Hearts fans get annoyed when you call them spin-offs, but spin-offs after Kingdom Hearts 2, mid as fuck games, just to get some kind of lore bits. Each one of these games, they all promise at the end of the game, this plot point that you don't understand right now is going to be addressed in Kingdom Hearts 3. So this is a legitimate, consistent, sustained life cycle, starting with the secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 2, continuing on for game after game after game after game after that. The last final teaser came out in 2012. 7-year wait for the next game, Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay. Like I said, it started at a 10. There's parts where I thought that this game legitimately reaches the peaks of Kingdom Hearts 2. There's parts where it really does. It is a different game from Kingdom Hearts 2. It plays very differently. A lot of the general design principles are different, but it keeps a lot of the DNA of what makes Kingdom Hearts 2 feel so intuitive, I guess is the word that I'm going to use. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game that you can easily learn by playing, not learn by studying, and it's something that Kingdom Hearts just gets right that I don't see in a lot of other character action games. Kingdom Hearts is an action RPG, but it plays more like action game, character action games, in my opinion. And there's a lot of like, I don't know, some of the way the systems are shaken up is different. For example, Kingdom Hearts 3 way more focused on verticality. Sora's movement is incredibly overpowered, which turns it into almost more of an emphasis on Twitch-based reactions. A lot of emphasis on crowd control, kind of, but also not kind of, because Sora's biggest crowd control options from 2 got nerfed. It's a weird game. It's funky. It does not play the same as 2. Going from 3 directly back to 2 is a jarring adjustment. There's, in some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. But I think it's impressive at all that it can stand up with Kingdom Hearts 2 at all. The story as well. There's been a lot of discourse about Kingdom Hearts 3's story over the years, but I think largely, for someone who has been a fan of all these games, it pretty much hits what I would hope for. Like, it is using a lot of the same. It has that X factor that Kingdom Hearts 2 has that I just can't get from really any other game. Like just the way that things are conveyed in this game, which, by the way, I should know, the games in between this, between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, I would say were a little lacking in that department, you know? You know, like, maybe there's always something with a lot of the games in between. Like, maybe the writing's good, but the presentation's bad, you know? Maybe there's an interesting avant-garde idea, but the execution is falling flat on its face, you know? Kingdom Hearts 3 pretty much has a lot of it, and it's something that really ties in, like I was saying earlier. This is a game that is aware of what it is. There's such a heavy focus on nostalgia and on loss, and god damn it, with me having memorized all the tropes that are in Kingdom Hearts and learning every little new thing about this series, I did get genuinely surprised at the very end of the game when Sora dies. I did get genuinely surprised by that. And what made it so much crazier is that it is heavily foreshadowed in the game, and it went under my nose, bro. It went under my nose because fucking Kingdom Hearts, the way they do this shit, man. Fuck. Watch my Kingdom Hearts 2 fucking playthrough. See the shit they do in that game? They basically fucking do it again. They do it again, but it's different enough to where my ass doesn't pick up on it before the plot twist comes in. It's like, fuck, man. You assholes. There was a secret plot thread that you had going on in the story the whole time that I just didn't pay attention to because I thought that was all filler text, but it wasn't. Fuck. Oh god, they got me again. Should clarify for people that haven't played that game, Sora doesn't die because no one dies in Kingdom Hearts. But functionally, he dies. So this game starts at a 10 for me. I'm going to give it an 8. And it goes down. It loses 2 points. It loses 1 point for Xehanort's ending, which is unacceptably bad. Unacceptably bad. It's maybe the most important part of the whole game, and they just completely whiff it. I have nothing more to add on to that. For those that are not familiar, they they retcon Xehanort's motivation for the whole series, what has been driving the series since Xehanort was introduced technically in Kingdom Hearts 2, functionally in Birth by Sleep. as something that was written in, contextually made sense with the rest of the series, what has already been text. And they decide to throw away his motivation, not even before you fight him, literally after you beat him and right before he dies. So God, it's so stupid. I'm getting annoyed again just thinking about it. Like, it has no reason to happen. There is nothing that is really gained from it, because Kingdom Hearts is not shy. Is not afraid to throw in constant stupid. I say stupid in an endearing way. Stupid retcons, right? You have to be on board for that if you like Kingdom Hearts. But the contingency there is the retcon is usually done with the purpose of making something cool, right? Even if logic is being lost, it adds some kind of emotional factor, right? Something to add extra meaningful context to games that came before that, and if you squint enough, it can tie in. This is a twist that actively makes the older games in the series significantly worse. Especially Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance. It retroactively turns Xehanort's character into being really bad. Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall when this decision was made to change his motivation entirely. Again, after the final boss. Like, this, maybe if this is an Act 1 twist that's introduced in Kingdom Hearts 3 as like a stinger, and the rest of the game spends the time explaining that. Like, why is this different than what every single game up till this has been telling you what it is, right? This is a series that encourages you to pay attention to the details so much and give you time to theorize. But then they're just like, no, none of that shit that you pay attention to mattered. Like, what in the fuck, man? Oh, it's making me actively mad. So that drops it down a point. I'm also going to drop it down a point. In the last level of this game, the Keyblade Graveyard is filled with a lot of the most incredible moments that make it feel like this Kingdom Hearts shit really has been worth it the whole time. Like, waiting for the game really has been worth it. Some incredible, well-earned payoffs after years and years and years. They execute it really well. And then they throw in shit from the gacha mobile game that is ongoing and does not have to do with the characters that are actively participating in the story. For those that are not familiar, there's a game called Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. That was a mobile game that released in 2013 or 14. They made it very clear from the start of, like, there's a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge of, hey, this game's going to have something to do with Kingdom Hearts 3, so if you want to keep up with Kingdom Hearts 3, you should play this game. The game's really bad. That does not have to do with my criticism. There's a lot of Kingdom Hearts games that I would rate lower than a 5, right? The game being bad does not have to do with why I don't like it. There are plot points that are introduced in the mobile game, and also in a movie that was added to the HD collection for, I believe it was Kingdom Hearts 2.8, which came out with basically like the Metal Gear Ground Zeroes equivalent for KH3, like the intro prologue demo type of game, with extra context. So they're saying, hey, the mobile game is going to be important. All right. So they introduce elements from the mobile game, but here's the thing. At the end of the mobile game, there are unexplained plot points, and again, the implication is, just like every other game, this is going to be solved in Kingdom Hearts 3. What if I told you None of that gets solved in Kingdom Hearts 3. And the actual reason why all the elements from this mobile game are here is because that was actually the first game of the next saga. Okay? So during the climax of Kingdom Hearts 3, one of the most important hyped up games ever that is explicitly about ending Xehanort's story. There's a light implication that it's ending Sora's story, though I don't think a lot of people actually believe that. And of course, that's not true. We now know. During the climax of the game, you have references to the mobile game characters start coming in. So you start thinking, okay, so where are they going to come in? They've been kind of keeping a lot of the mobile game stuff that they've been hyping up for years, saying is going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. They've been keeping it off screen for so long. They use it to drop references to certain characters and draw connections, because this is what Kingdom Hearts does, right? It makes plot points by just drawing connections between characters and metaphor and inference, because that's how they communicate ideas in the fucking writing of this game. So they load Chekhov's gun, and they don't fire until the post-credit scene, in which they load again and they proceed to not fire again. And they introduce another new plot point. So why do I hate this so much? This is something that happens in every Kingdom Hearts game. I've had a lot of time to think about it. I think fundamentally what it comes down to is just being able to look at it all from kind of like an outside observer lens. A game that is supposed to be final. This is the end. Said it, I think this is my third time saying it. The end of the Xehanort saga. But how come in the climax of the fucking game, like half the time is being spent throwing out previews for Kingdom Hearts 4, which isn't going to come out for like another 4 years after this video? Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? I hate to use the fucking Marvel analogy, but like, this is like if if you go into watching Avengers Endgame, in the last hour of that movie, 30 minutes of it is spent on teasing the next antagonist after Thanos. Like, what? It's actively disrespectful to people that are looking for finality from your fucking game that you marketed as being final for 13 fucking years. What are you doing? Fuck, man. Like, it makes me not excited for Kingdom Hearts 4 because the veil has been lifted. I know that game's not going to have answers either. You fuckers are just trying to make an endless series. Like, nothing can ever be final in fucking Kingdom Hearts, man. Give it a rest. Fuck, man. If they were doing just a full, like, reboot, wipe the slate, even if they're using the fucking mobile game characters, I would be more excited for that than what happened in 3. It stains what should have been one of the best video game levels ever. Just knowing that, just this thought in the back of the head that there can never be a neat bow tied on top of a fucking game. They're always just going to, oh, just wait for the next game. We're going to answer your questions. Just wait for the next game. 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 You motherfuckers have no intentions of answering these fucking questions. You are removing the magic. I can no longer believe. And so that drops the game just a whole point on its own. So with that, this great game, legitimately, despite the last 10 minutes of what I just said, great game with two terrible, terrible, terrible flaws that each drop at a point on its own. That's Kingdom Hearts 3. We're an hour into the stream. Next game, Journey. So of course I know about Journey, right? I was a PS3 kid. Journey, when this game came out in 2012, there's a lot of discourse about, like, is this the best game ever made? Short answer for me is no. You could definitely feel this game's influence everywhere in the indie scene of the past couple years, especially. The idea of the game is genuinely very cool. It's genuinely a very unique video game experience, and it's novel, and it emotionally resonated in a way that most games just don't. Okay, so the whole gimmick of this game, and this is like the only thing I knew about the game going in, is spoiler, I'm gonna give it an 8, by the way. I guess I haven't been doing that to this point. Whatever. Gonna give it an 8. Let's throw it in there. The idea of Journey is that it is a 3D adventure game, like kind of walking sim, kind of puzzler, kind of platformer. It's one of those, right? But it's always online. So you will be going through these, like, kind of puzzles, kind of platforming, super open, beautiful expanses, amazing ambient OST, and sound design in general. Like, just the way that shit sounds in this game is amazing. Gemini, you've just missed Kingdom Hearts 3. You're gonna have to go back and look at the VOD. Back to Journey. It's visuals and audio are fucking stunning in this game. The first level of the game, what surprised me is that you are not online, right? Because, like I said, that's the only thing I knew. It's like it forces you to go online and play with other people while you were going through this. And something that is really, really cool about this game, as soon as you get through the first level, or maybe it's like halfway through the first level, I'm not sure, you will have someone else spawn in. They're going to spawn in off screen. You're going to get a little, like, blink on the side of your screen, which is like functionally your HUD, that there's another player that joins in. And Journey is a co-op game that doesn't have to be played co-op, but you do have to acknowledge that there's another player there, right? Or you don't. It's actually not true. Like, you can functionally in gameplay ignore the other person that's there entirely and not interact with them. It's not necessary, but interacting with the other player does help you. It helps you. Like, you are, like, interacting with another player is like essentially cheating. You get, like, to way buff your character to make everything in the game easier. So I don't know. It was a very interesting experience for me because, like, as someone who I actively try to avoid playing games online because I hate gamers. I don't care how oppressed gamers are. I hate them. Quote that shit. I hate gamers. I don't want to interact with gamers after a long day of work. Again, going back to that point, right? So it's why I don't play competitive games anymore. But co-op games can also have that same level of toxicity to them. And Journey is a game that has no chat, no voice chat, no text chat, no emotes, no teabagging, nothing. You have a button to ping someone, not even like throw down a marker, just like there's a little sound that comes out and a light that comes out from the character model. And if they're off screen, then the HUD kind of shows you what direction the other player is in. And that's all you have. It is... It's so... I feel like I'm not describing this very well. But, like, it's so interesting because you can be playing with someone where you know absolutely nothing about them, right? They can literally be speaking a different language. Spoiler, later found out that someone that I was playing with did indeed not speak English. But you could still